But also I had a okay.
Yeah.
That has SD cards. Somebody like camera.
You want me to sit over there now?
Yeah, wherever you are.
Maybe I'll stay near the computer.
Even chair down here. I still don't have the pictures out in the file.
Yeah.
So, but if you go to the, what's the program? I assume that is on there.
I think, yeah.
You can go over here and change the times.
Yeah, for me at home, I
Should
should
we
get
get
started.
started?
I still just give you.
Let's get
Let's
I want to welcome everyone
Yeah.
to the Mid-Atlantic Amateur Radio Club, 7:15, so we'll get started. As we normally do, we'll go around the room with a round of introductions.
I'm new, I just got my tech last week.
Congratulations. What's your call?
83 CVI.
83 CVI. That's nice.
I live in East Norton, retired almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
Married my wife, Michelle, for almost 38 years.
Where's your home?
East Norton,
Okay, good.
where are you starting? Kingwood Drive, off the hot shop.
Okay, all right.
So it's about 20 minutes for me. The one in Telford, it's like a 40-minute drive. Because I went up there to take my test. Nice group, but I was kind of like looking for a place to take my general, and I saw you guys were having it in that lower province partnership building. And I said, oh wow, they must be close.
To join our club, we got a good bonus for you because we'll pay your VE test session. We'll pay for it.
Cool. Great. For general.
For any, well, as you work, as you work. Well, what is it, one a year?
1 year.
Yeah, but I know absolutely nothing, so it's trying to learn.
Another friend.
You're in good company.
Hi, I'm Jay King, W2AFE. Welcome to the hobby.
Yeah,
You haven't developed any bad habits yet.
No,
That's great. A really strong.
this is a good starting point.
I'm the section emergency coordinator. I'm going to do the program tonight, and I understood the topic of the program that was presented to me was things that a club can do to prepare for emergency communication. So I will not be spending a lot of time pushing Aries on you or anything like that. It's going to be the things that you guys can do as a club. They're prepared. I moved here a few years ago when I retired. I had worked in Chester in 2012 and spent a couple of years living in Phoenixville, and I thought this would be a great place to settle down. So this is and it's been a wonderful place to live. So I'm glad to be here.
Seth Rios, W8SLR. I met y'all online a couple months ago, so pretty new member. Got my tech in general in January. Lived in the area since 2008-ish, originally from New Orleans and US Virgin Islands, and I work at the nuclear power plant.
And Seth has a W8 call, not because he likes the 8th call area, but he has his initials.
Yes, W8SLR.
That's cool.
I was a KJ5 because my PO box is in Texas, so sorry for the confusion with all these 9-3s.
Jeremy, M2 ZLQ club president. Yes, I've been a ham 30 years now. Just did my 3rd renewal year or 2 back. Getting up there.
I'm Michael, and M3OMR, like you, I'm married to my own wife. So there we go.
You have 2 kids who don't live in the house.
I don't even know how to respond to this. No follow.
Just had to say that.
I'm Jeff, WA3RIZ, and I'm trying to be membership. I've got some distraction from home, but
Oh, you got 2 hits right there.
Yeah, there you
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I know, and my apologies for, don't feel like I'm ignoring you on purpose. Well, I know it can't. Listen about. Pay attention to girls.
I'm Lou WX3I and I'm the club treasurer. You want me to say more?
Matt.
No.
I'm
Bob
W3J.
There you go, Bob, that's the way to do it.
And I'm the Hamfest chairman.
Jim, W3JNF, Vice President of the club. I'm a field day captain and public service events chairman, so do a few things.
I'm Dennis, K3DS. I've been a ham for 63 years. I'm tech committee chair and I'm also the webmaster.
Ron, KC3ACO, and I guess I'm the contact to the church, as you found out tonight.
All right, so let's get started. Lou, treasurer's report.
Okay, as of now, we have $18,114.66 in the bank. We have paid 3 bills this month. The PO box came up for renewal, that's one of them. We did send a check to the church. And also Dennis is working on the repeaters, some money for a new controller.
I thought that was my salary.
I did try to nominate, I did try to make a motion that we get 2 more repeaters.
Yeah, I heard that.
You didn't hear me, you snuck it in at the
Well, I'll
bottom.
have a comment.
Yeah, I think that would be.
And the other thing is paid memberships right now are at 69 paid memberships.
Oh, we forgot. Everybody did, everybody wrote, okay. We go around once.
We're good.
We do it again. Come on, let's-
Next time it'll be a test. How about Jim? You want to do public service and field day?
Public service this year, the first one that's locked in is going to be the Radnor Memorial Day Parade, which is on Memorial Day, May 25th this year. What we do, we meet at the Micro Center, and then we disperse from there. So looking forward to that. I have some other irons in the works, but nobody seems to be getting back to me. We used to have the Van Wyn and a couple other ones, and I don't even see anything online, but we do have the parade locked in, so that's one good thing.
Send me a reminder for the website.
I will. I was working on it yesterday and it got sidetracked, so. Field day. Lou's got us all locked in, right, Lou?
Well,
Okay.
the president is the one that usually does this.
Right,
And I was gonna talk to him at the last meeting, which was last week, last
Right.
Monday.
right.
And he was working, so I didn't talk to him, but I talked to the chairman of the trustees and she put it on the calendar.
Oh, good. So we're good.
So unless the president comes back and goes, what's this,
The chairman should be over the president, right?
What's that?
The chairman is over the president.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, there you go. So we're locked in with the date. The venue's very nice venue. It's behind the fire company there. What is it, Lower?
Lower Providence Fire
Right.
Department, yes,
Right,
it's their fairgrounds and their fair is at the beginning of June, so basically the end of
We
June.
clean up the parking lot after the fair.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Fourth Saturday in June, correct?
The first full weekend, the last.
Or last
weekend
full
of
weekend.
June,
Last weekend.
last
27th,
weekend,
28th then.
Whatever the last full weekend.
June
Well, it's
27th.
the 4th full weekend. There's sometimes with the last, sometimes not.
So it's 27th, 28th.
I thought it was always the last. June, Jen? Isn't it always the last full weekend in June, this field day?
That's my understanding.
That's my understanding for decades.
I thought it was the 4th full weekend, so but the first is on Sunday.
Well, the fourth and the last would both be the same full weekend.
Like the 27th and
Yeah.
28th.
Sometimes you have,
full weekend does.
sometimes you have a fifth one. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
making it a 5th one.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll be.
Fourth weekend of June, according to ARL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the 27th and 28th?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And what, the way we do it, we meet up there Saturday morning, set up. And by 2 o'clock, we're ready to rock and roll. Sandwiches, lunch, dinner,
Free
steak,
food all weekend.
yeah, soda, coffee, donuts. I mean, everything's supplied by the club, so it's a great time. So looking forward to that. We have all the equipment, which is stored at Brian's house. So that'll all come up, and we'll be good to go. Any questions on field day? Okay, there you have it.
But Bob, you want to talk about Hamfest?
We have a date for our Ham Fest. It's gonna be Sunday, August the 9th. And the setup day is Saturday, August the 8th. thanks to Dennis for contacting the ARL and getting that on their calendar as soon as they get around to it, I guess. And let's see, we're trying to get a card checker, but I haven't I emailed them and called them and haven't heard anything back, so I would probably have to go try the other card checker who's in our area, but unfortunately the other guy lives in Maryland. The guy I'm trying to get lives in Yardley. And the guy in Maryland came 1 year, but yeah, it's like a 2-hour drive for him, so it's kind of a long haul for him, but he might do it if he can't get the other fellow. And I have mailed the event fact sheet. The fire company, Cambridge Fire Company requires a event fact sheet before they'll send a contract. So that's in the mail, so hopefully this week or next, we'll get the contract and we'll know how much it's gonna cost to rent the place and get that all squared away. And let's see what else, yeah, and then I'll have to, I'll try to contact Suburban Food Service, just to give them a heads up. Usually, if we could get closer, then I'll, kind of firm that up. But, and then, of course, once we get, the card checker figured out and we get the Hamfest flyer updated and everything and on our website, then we can get the, flyers off to the printer, and we've got, a whole list of Hamfest to take the flyers to. And we could always use help taking them to the, area Hamfest. Let's see, the next Hamfest coming up would be Middletown, the Georgetown, Delaware one. That's to the south, and we've never actually taken the Hamfest flyers for that one, but I'd like to try to get Hamfest flyers south this year.
When is that?
That's April 18th. And
'Cause I owe you the flyer, I'll work on that.
so
Send me a quick one.
we can, yeah, we gotta get, I gotta figure out, previous year, like last year, I guess it was, Greg said that, Greg Morrow's the, card checker we're trying to get, and he said he wants his name and call sign on the flyer, but and if he can't make it, or, whatever, I don't know, we may just go with card checker, but if we don't hear from him soon. But anyway, we'd like to get flyers to Georgetown. Then the next one is York on April 25th. Warminster is Sunday, May the 3rd. Kutztown is Friday and Saturday, the May 8th and 9th. Bloomsburg is June 13th. Raritan Valley is June 20th. And there's a couple more, I think, tucked away in there somewhere that I haven't got dates for, but
Can you email that list up to either the membership group or the board group?
Mhm.
If you would.
okay.
Wow, did you get the speakers over
No, we've never gotten the speakers up, and I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with the speakers. I don't know, we may I have to approach the fire company again, because everything has changed, all, the regime has changed, there's all the people we talked to before.
Are you
aren't
doing
there
that for
anymore.
us or for them?
But that,
Yes,
Are you doing that for us or for them?
yes.
yes, yeah, it's kind of like a mutual thing, they actually gave us a $300 discount
That's what they
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they, at one time, they, wanted us to make good on it. But because everything's changed and the building is evolving into something that I think we probably don't wanna have, but it's, I've gotta go do everything all over again, so. I don't know if that's, the speakers are gonna happen, or we're just gonna, give them the $300 back and call it macaroni,
I forgot about it.
They changed.
If they ask for it, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
they don't say, don't ask, don't tell.
I'll just say one thing about it, I only have a couple more years of ladder. So
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
I won't be climbing ladders.
Yeah.
Need some new ladder ready.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you need help, seriously, I don't mind.
Okay.
We can get Todd with his tower climbing gear.
Yeah.
You could just stand on top of his deuce and hat.
Dennis.
Okay, outside of the fact that nobody uses the repeaters, I keep threatening that I'm gonna shut them all off and see how long it puts something. Call me about it. But we do try to maintain them, of course, for emergency preparedness and all that. I should tell Jay, you might find this interesting. Our installation at Fitzgerald Mercy Hospital is on the motor generator set of the hospital. So when all else fails, it also overlooks the airport. Used to overlook the refinery, but that's not there anymore. Okay, so we've got trouble in River City. So we'll start with Paoli link repeater 14513. It now says over instead of a courtesy tone, which I think is like it's like going back, right? It's like part of the amateur radio history, if you will, but it's because I can't get it to say tone, so I did. Rather than say nothing, I made it say over. I plan to get there real soon now and try to reload the software into the controller and see what happens. And that's payroll. We did order a controller because SCOM is no longer making the 7330. We have 3 of them. And it would be nice to have something that we could plug in when all else fails. So we ordered an ARCOM controller. ARCOM has been around longer than SCOM has been. So we ordered an ARCOM controller, which I'll configure with compatible plug-in plugs. The problem is it's not plug and play because you still have to adjust the levels and stuff like that, but at least the cables will line up. I'll just make a little adapter cable, so that's already coming. That's Paoli. The fusion repeater is on here, that's Darby, Newtown Square, no problem at all. That's still running. Darby, we had a failure on the 220 repeater for a machine that we bought 3 years ago. That's Broadcom, and I do everything I can to give them a very good recommendation, but they no longer sell that particular repeater. So it goes to show that we'll see what we can do about it. It's the late 220 repeater. It seems to just died altogether. No controller, no lights, no nothing. But the 2-meter antenna, the Superstation Master, that's been up there since the mid-80s, seems to have developed an infinite bismarck. I have a schedule appointment with Vince, WA3ADI, and we go down to Darby and climb the circular stairs to the hellhole that where it is. If you've never been there, you would not believe when you get there what it looks like. We do have a backup DR1. We have 2 problems. One is the antenna, the 220 repeater. And the third problem is the fusion repeater in Darby is not playing well. When you key it up, it just oscillates, so people don't key it up. We have a replacement. We have a DR1X, which we got for the ASIC for about $200. And we'll be able to hopefully do a swap at the very least and get it back on the air. We'll see. Or maybe it just needs a reset, but we'll see. I'll also try to do a quick survey. I have a replacement for the polyphaser lightning arrestor, which is in the hard line. We should all say a prayer that that's the problem. Hopefully I'll just take that out of line and I'll come back to life magically. If not, I'll try to do a survey to see what we can do with some sort of a side arm antenna on the tower and get the 2 meters back up again real soon though. So that's the situation there.
I have 2-meter antenna which put down this.
Want to buy a let's just say a repeater capable one, because I'm not going to be doing this too much longer. I'd rather spend $600 or $700 or $800 on a Collecto or whatever people are pushing these days. Not that a diamond would work. It will work.
It's a real 14 feet.
I don't know what that too. That's
Dual band to the.
I mean,
Right.
but the dual band is the problem. I think.
It is.
Single band is better for.
Single band is much better. But we have money, and if the gods be unkind, we'll put up something. But generally, a good repeater antenna is $600, $700, $800. plus the sideboard, plus climbing the tower and all that you get.
Well, you can make believe in the baby is $600. I don't know how much for me to.
Or I could just pretend it, I could tell everybody it is right, and see how long it takes before they figure out it is.
Exactly.
Just, I did promise Dennis that I would be taking the old 220 gear out of. Primrose Hospital this year.
Okay. Which year was that? I thought it was.
That was this year.
I thought it was 25.
No, it was 6.
All right.
Yeah, but you know, things are what they are.
Come on, in.
Want a radio club meeting?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alcohol and some.
Show me your radio. In case you don't know, if we have a 220 repeater at Bimmer Hospital, it goes back to the ancient days of MARC Club. It's actually, what's the name of the, Speccom, right? Speccom?
Well, I don't even.
Was the company that.
Maggie or.
Maggie, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
I've seen it twice in my life. I know where it is. But, and actually it works on occasion, which is kind of interesting. It does not have PO, which does not conform with ARCC rules. So we try not to think about it. So Jeff is gonna get up there and just disconnect everything.
I'd like to see a 220 antenna because Kenwood is coming out with this new tri-band. So,
220 link repeater, Darby.
no, I know we do,
Okay.
but this is a tri-band radio. So everybody that buys these things, and I think they're gonna sell a lot of them, they're gonna have 220 in their cars or wherever, so.
Well, we could, if we wanted to spend money, I wouldn't do anything with that hardware. That's 40 years older today.
Right.
But we could get some sort of a 220 repeater, which is not that easy these days.
Yeah, that's for
And
sure.
we could stick it in Paoli and ask really nicely about sticking another antenna on the roof of Paoli. Or stealing with hospital administration is always problematic. We try to be, you know, keep a very low profile. So that's-
So you could, I mean, you could replace the 220.
we still have the allocation frequency, which is even better, right?
Well, yeah, in Bremont.
Yeah, and put
Well,
it.
the antenna is still good.
No, put. No,
It's probably pretty old.
all right,
Yeah.
this is only for this room. Can I tell you there's no control?
Yeah, I know
And I'm
that.
the trustee of the license. Can I tell you that also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wanna even think about.
That's a good one. No, I'm talking about replacing it entirely.
I would say move it to Paoli with that frequency with a brand new set of hardware.
Yeah, it's right down the
The
street.
Paoli Hospital was a really good, or Bremont Hospital was a really good location.
It's a great location. That's
Probably
all
built the
again.
parking garage.
Yeah.
Parking garage, shields
Blocks
the
it.
antenna right now.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't think anybody's gonna use it as a standalone repeater. That's bothers me. In
Wow.
fact, go home and use it today.
No, yeah,
In fact, the busiest 220 repeater I've seen is the one that's all-star linked. Forgot what's the call of that one?
There's a few
Something
of
like in
them.
Ben Salem or some that area.
And if you can't pick up a mic, just get on the computer. That's the way I look at it. Okay, well, anyway, that's the situation. I could use a few more people, younger people.
Genuinely interested, so.
But I'll put it on.
Yeah,
And I wrote Vince WA380I to come to Darby because he happened to ask him, how come the repeaters off the air? So I wrote him in doing the next run up there. So we'll see what happens.
was that you on the Paoli Fusion just before the meeting?
Yeah.
Just before we got on?
And if you need help at Bryn Mawr, let me know. I could walk there from my house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, well, anyway, that's the situation there. But the good news is the flagship 06 machine is, working along fine. 1.3 is running, it just says over. That's the only thing.
You know, when I was a little nipper, I would listen to the 06 repeater on monitor. And it would say all kinds of things, bubbles, boom, boom, and Bernadette said all kinds of things on here.
We try to be a little bit more professional. That's okay. The old DCRA at Darby, we used to have the clock lady, which was a Panasonic clock radio that if you press the top of it, it would give the time. So we hooked it up and you could actually key it, it will tell you what time it is.
Yeah.
The first machines that able to do that. Okay, well, that's the tech.
Alright, we have a new person who's joined us. You wanna introduce yourself?
Nice to meet everyone. Frankie, I just got my technician license earlier this month.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
What's your call?
It's a KD3 CSD.
Welcome.
I take
He
it
is-
you know
he is
about
a new
the
member.
MARC website where to find more information about board gaming and all.
He paid his membership.
Oh,
Yeah, I got bailed in and everything.
Paid up.
I was hoping that went somewhere. I was
Yeah.
Okay, you emailed me.
I sent it like with a letter in an envelope, like.
I'm emailing about your membership.
Oh,
Or
I
is it
just
someone else?
I don't think it was me, but.
I emailed to see if the meeting was open to general public, so.
Yeah, it's open to anybody.
All right, that's it for me.
Okay, Jeff, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm just not able to participate as a membership chair as much as I get told. And it's gonna probably get a little worse before it gets better.
Okay, that's understandable. I think what do we have coming up? VE testing session. Next one will be first Saturday in May. So that's coming up in just a little bit. Brian's not here tonight. Next one after that will be at the Ham Fest in August. Club breakfast. Anyone want to say a word?
I'll be there.
You'll be there. Well, that's this Saturday coming up.
I'll just say that it's a great time. We usually have, 7, 8 people. We'd like to have more. Food is great. It's at Andy's Diner in Plymouth Meeting or Conshohocken or wherever it is, right off the Blue Route. So
Maps on the website.
yeah, that's on the website.
That's this Saturday?
This Saturday.
It's always the last
9
Saturday. of the
o'clock.
month.
Yeah.
Always the last Saturday of the month.
Yeah, if you can make it, it's a great time.
I might be able to make this.
All right. Sounds good.
Anyone have anything else for the club?
Let's try to get some more activity on the nets on Wednesday night.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been on lately. I've been getting home at 8 or 9 o'clock most nights the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I did try for a little while to stir up some interest on the fusion with the connected to Wires X. I just got no response at all, and no interest at all. I don't know if it's because people didn't understand it or they just weren't interested or what, I don't know. But I just had to stop.
Well, I think there's a lot of club members asking for a training session on fusion. So maybe we
Yeah.
can think about putting that on the agenda at some point.
I know there is, but it's kind of like live fusion radio, key up the transmitter,
No, I understand that it is just that simple, but
Yeah,
there's a few people that,
it's over scared,
Yeah. so.
Alright, so in terms of upcoming programs, next month we have our annual junk auction. Dennis will be returning as auctioneer. Somehow everyone leaves with more stuff than they came with, which seems to violate the laws of business. Everyone has less money and more stuff and they. After that, programs are open, so if there is any interest in doing a fusion program, we could do something in May.
I will note that the Steve K3F is a T, there's, that's the link from force and he's. Pretty strongly suggested that it be broken up into small workshops outside of meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't,
That wouldn't be part of the programs then.
yeah.
Alright, so there's nothing further, I think we'll move on to our evening's program, so we're happy to have Jay, W2KFE, he's the ARRL EPA Section Emergency Coordinator.
Thank you for your invitation. Thanks for having me here tonight. I'm always excited to talk about emergency communication. It sounds to me like you guys probably know more than I do about a lot of this. But it never hurts to go back and talk about some of the basics. And it's important to start and remind ourselves why MCOM, emergency communications, is important to us. It is part of why we have the resources that we have. That amateur radio exists in some part due to the fact that we provide emergency communication, and it's part of the regulation that allows us to continue to operate. That we are a service that's available to the public that provide emergency communications. And these emergency communications can be needed at any time. That's part of what being ready for MCOM is being ready to go. And the main thing I want to get on the table tonight is it doesn't take a lot of preparation to be a whole lot more ready with the emergency communications than you may be today. Are any of you in Aries? Okay,
Joining it.
okay. There's things, and focus of tonight's conversation is about what can a ham club do to prepare for emergency communications. I'm not here to sell you on joining Aries. You don't have to do that. You can do a lot as an unaffiliated ham to provide services to your family, your neighbors, and to be ready to work with larger organizations. And that's what I'll talk about this evening. Couple of basic things for individual hams, and we forget this stuff when we're involved in rag chewing and contests and stuff like that. The single most important thing you can do as a ham in emergency communications is learn to speak clearly and slowly. It's a whole different thing when you're trying to collect a message from somebody over the air that you'd be able to write it down. And if any of you heard the term word tracing, a great way to clock yourself when you're sending a message is to have the written message in front of you and trace the letters and the words with a pencil while you're reading the message aloud. That way you're assuring that the person on the other end can be writing it down at the same time. And you'd be surprised to discover how much faster you speak than a person can write. So that is one of the main things I wanted to get in front of you tonight is this idea that when you're doing emergency communications, slower is safer, slower is better. And not having to ask for repeats and other fills and things, it's worth spending. Number 2, use standard phonetics. If you haven't learned the phonetic alphabet, if you're not as comfortable as you'd like to be, spend a little more time on. Even simple things like using kilowatt instead of kilo or America versus alpha can make it very difficult for a person who's trying to write down a complicated word that you're spelling to them. Once you started using the standard phonetic alphabet, the word alpha, you don't have to think alpha. What's it start with? It starts with an A or an A. It just happens automatically. But if somebody chooses a different word, by the time you think your way through what that first letter is, there'll be 2 or 3 more letters in the spelling of the word that they're doing. So try to stay with standard phonetics. A very obvious thing that you can do is know your equipment, and the one that is the bugaboo for all of us is, can you program a new or change frequency in without a computer? Yeah, there we are. And not on a Baofeng, no matter how hard you try. But it's worth trying to do, and it's a good club activity to run an exercise where you have everybody bring in their manuals and do a little frequency hopping test.
Maybe we have a May program. Bring in your radio.
There you go.
All right, let's do that.
And while you're at it, have some spare batteries or be able to have some mechanism for recharging in the field. A lot of MCOM activities are not going to be convenient to the 2-hour life of a handheld battery. And there's a lot of options when it comes to spare batteries for your HTs. There's third-party providers that make battery packs that are much larger capacity. And of course, you can just build a 12-volt battery pack of your own that you can plug into the auxiliary. That will serve you well in an emergency communications situation. And how many of you are carrying a copy of your ham license in your wallet? Oh, very good. I don't even need to talk about that. But it's worth it to get a copy of your license, print it down wallet size, get it laminated. I have never been asked to produce mine, but it does happen that you're trying to operate in some place, and if you can show some form of documentation, it can get you through a difficult moment with an authority. Okay.
No ham radio badges though.
No.
Doesn't not go over well.
Now, what kind of things can you do as a ham? This is all about your learning and your operating. Let's talk about a surprising thing. How many of you keep a log?
This QRZ. This QRZ.
Okay. No, I don't mean like QRZ. I mean that you record on a piece of paper the things that are said on the net and the names of the people that are involved. And this is a very worthwhile thing to practice, and it costs nothing. It just means that when you're doing your Wednesday night net, get out a piece of paper and write down the calls and the names and the keywords for what people are saying. And this will prepare you for logging in an emergency situation when logging becomes really critical. Not amateur radio logs. Logs of all kinds used in the ICS system are terribly important after the fact in emergency situations for finding out what was going where and who was assigned to an activity and where an asset is sitting. So your ability to record complex information in an understandable way in a log, it's a thing you can actually learn to do. And it's very simple to do. Great place to practice it is during your weekly nets. And it costs you nothing, and you don't have to embarrass yourself by having anybody else see what you do. It's worth the trouble. Learn to pass traffic. We've got some very simple things, very convenient things available to us now for passing traffic through NTS. Have any of you used the radiogram portal? So there's a web page where you can initiate an ARRL radiogram. By the way, I've sent you a copy of this.
Yeah, I just saw that in my
Okay.
email.
So you can hand that out. It's got the web, I've got the web address here. The radiogram portal, anybody, even a non-ham, can initiate a radiogram through that portal. And this could be your first experience with sending a message via NTS. That serves a lot of important purposes. It gives you an opportunity to handle a piece of traffic and see what a radiogram is like. But if you happen to be sending this to a non-ham, it gets them a little more acquainted with the kind of thing hams can do. This is a great way to celebrate things with your family, send radiograms at birthdays, greetings to folks. You can do things like that. Another way to get involved in NTS traffic is to use WinLink. WinLink has a you can put messages into the national traffic system through WinLink, and you can do that in the telnet mode. So all you need is the WinLink software on your computer. You don't need a radio. You can just use the internet. And WinLink is complicated enough. I encourage people when they start using WinLink, just do it in Telnet for the first couple of months. Join a couple of WinLink nets, get your head wrapped around all the complexity of that system. It's enough like Microsoft Outlook or any other email client. There's nothing there that should be very surprising, but it has its own little peculiarities that's a really safe place to learn. And if those things get you sufficiently interested, then check into one of the Pennsylvania traffic nets. They're available on HF and VHF. If you Google for Pennsylvania traffic nets, you can find them. And they're a very welcoming group of people if you want to try passing some traffic. Over on the topic of digital nodes, and a lot of emergency communications happens in digital. Digital is actually surprisingly low cost to get into. If you have a computer and a ham radio, you don't actually have to pay for WinLink, FLDigi, or Packet. You've got everything you need. You can find the software, and you just need something with a sound card, and you can be participating in all those different modes. We have a very active Packet community around here with the Packet Radio Forwarding Network, which is run out of Chester County. They have done a tremendous job of building a nationwide network of packet radio messaging. And you can actually pass messages through there. You can pass a WinLink message through the packet network. It's worth looking into. If you Google for TPRFN, you can find all the information on how to get involved in that. I always want to mention here, when I talk about digital communications, there's folks who point out that it won't be much good if the internet isn't working. You know, WinLink depends on the internet backbone. And if the internet goes down, then we're not gonna be able to use that, but a mass failure of the internet is highly unlikely. What we're trying to do with our local digital communications, bridge the gap over to where if we have an internet failure, it's probably gonna be local. And bridging it to get to the outside is what we need to do for our emergency communications. For an individual ham, there's several elements of training that are worth looking into. I believe the ARRL basic and intermediate emergency communicator courses do not require you to be an ARRL member to take them. And even if you're an experienced ham, these are worth going back and taking again, because none of us cover everything that happens in the field. And going back and taking these courses is a really good refresher on the basics in a lot of different areas. They don't take a great deal of time. Nobody's judging you when you're doing them. You can get through them pretty quickly. The ARRL basic and intermediate emergency communications courses are real interesting.
Those are free to take, aren't they?
I believe they are. Yes, they're absolutely free, and I don't think you need to be an ARR member to take them.
And it's done as like a asynchronous, is that right?
Yes.
Computer-based training?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I did it like 25 years ago. So.
Then go back. You'll be surprised if you go through them and you'll say, "Oh, I kind of remember this," but it's a really great refresher to go through and take them. They were recently updated, so that's why I had to take them again. And I was pleasantly surprised at all the things that I remembered that I did not remember. So that was great.
Now, what about the ICS training?
So I'm gonna get to that right now. Thank you for that. There's actually only 4 courses in the Aries Passbook to get you started. There's 2 for Aries level 1 and 2 for Aries level 2. And they're worth taking because they are not about ham radio. They are about the systems that you'll be interfacing with when you're doing emergency response work.
That is ICS you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the first one I'm listing here is IS 100, Introduction to the Incident Command System. That gets you the vocabulary of the kind of people and processes you'll be working with. The processes are surprisingly uniform across the country. There's been a great deal of effort to get all the various municipalities and service organizations using the same vocabulary, the same systems. And you can prepare yourself to be able to work here in your community and in any other community that you go into, if you understand what's going on in these courses. And the second one is IS 700, Introduction to the National Incident Management System. That's another layer of understanding of how these different functions all fit together. Then you get into the next level is for Aries level 2. IS 200 is ICS for a single resource. That is how do you as an individual work within the ICS infrastructure. And then IS 800 is the National Response Framework, which gives you a little better idea of how things are happening nationally. These ICS courses are hosted by FEMA. They don't cost anything. You log into their website, you take the course. And even if you're not a member of Aries, these are worthwhile things to know, worthwhile things to have the background on. Be working with others. You probably all heard of the 80-20 rule. And all of these things I've talked about very much apply to that. A little bit of effort on your part to learn and be prepared goes a long way in getting you prepared for emergency communication. And I'll just summarize that again. If you have clear and effective, if you're a good, clear and effective operator, that's the first thing you should work at. Be able to maintain clear, complete, and timely logs. It'd be great to volunteer as net control. Don't be afraid of it. It's a really fun thing to do. It's scary the first time, and after that, it's great to be in charge. So think about trying out as net control. Is it still scary? And participate in drills and alerts. We run a lot of exercises in the state. And whenever I design a simulated emergency test in October, I always make it open to unaffiliated hams. You don't have to be part of Aries to participate in the simulated emergency test. And it's okay for you as a club to run drills and alerts. And you were mentioning you want to have more people on the Wednesday nets, run an alert and get them to show up for the net as part of the alert. Do you guys as an organization have a contact list with people's calls and email and phone number?
I mean, we have our membership database, but that's not generally available. to everyone.
Absolutely, but you could have an alert manager who has access to that list. And he could initiate an email to everybody in the club using BCC.
So
So,
we have a membership list as well.
okay.
With a groups.io that goes out to everyone.
That's another, groups IO is another good way, but. So you have mechanisms that you could run an alert if you cared to, or an exercise where you could communicate to your members by text, by email. And if you care to, you can launch a WinLink message to everybody at the same time. And we've been using that in Philadelphia County areas. We do an alert once a month. We've begun shifting the day around now, where we give everybody a mission and they come in and report on it in the net, the following net that we have. So it's been a great activity to get everyone so they know what to do when they get a text message that says drill. Here's the thing to do, show up and report on it. I want to spend a minute or two talking about Red Cross, because if you're going to be involved in emergency communication, you're going to run across Red Cross. Red Cross is chartered by Congress to provide emergency services across the country in all the communities. You're not going to go along in emergency communication before you're going to be handling Red Cross traffic or working with Red Cross personnel. When I bring up Red Cross, there's often people who don't understand how the nature of the organization. 95% of the donations to Red Cross actually end up being spent on services. Very little of it goes to salaries. 90% of the Red Cross staff are volunteers. There's 18,000 paid staff. That's a lot, but there's 250,000 volunteers. There's a lot of people out there working at Red Cross because they think it's an important thing to do. And all services provided by Red Cross are delivered free of charge. Everything that they do with providing sheltering and taking care of people after fires and providing blood services, all those things are free of charge. So it's a good organization, and you're going to run into it if you're involved in emergency communication. We're in the southeastern PA Red Cross region. That includes Philadelphia and the 4 surrounding counties. We have a single organization that goes by 2 names. We have Philadelphia County Aries, and then we have this is a mouthful, Southeastern Pennsylvania Red Cross Emergency Communications Group. That's the first one is the Aries organization, Philadelphia County Aries, and the second is the Red Cross organization. There's a lot of people that are involved in both. The difference with the Red Cross organization is it carries some additional membership among people that are part of Red Cross disaster technology services and other things that are within Red Cross. And you're probably all aware that Philadelphia County Aries has a weekly net. We do it Sundays at 8 p.m. on W3QB. And we're currently running monthly HF nets for the C for Red Cross MCOM group on the 3rd Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. on 7.222 lower sideband. Sorry for the weekday and the morning. Our portable station, our trailer, as it were, is located on the grounds out at the Norristown State Hospital where the Red Cross warehouse is, and that's the time that we have access to it every month. So that's why we're stuck with that weekday time slot.
You have to go with it. fixed frequency or is the cliff the same?
Well, you know, that's the target, is 7.222 and then hunt around depending on.
Okay.
What's the mic?
That's where we ended up last week.
Right,
There's a lot of nets on it at that time. of the day.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of nets on all the time.
Really?
One's about 7,200.
Yeah, no.
So if you're all interested in being involved in emergency communication with the Red Cross, we have a new and much simpler path for that. You don't have to go through a lot of paperwork and or jump through a lot of hoops. I'll send you the link. Southeastern PA Red Cross has created a job title Regional Amateur Radio Operator. And you can sign up for that. I sent you the link. If anybody's interested in doing that, all you can be involved in is ham radio work. No one from Red Cross will be approaching you about doing other volunteer activities. What this would mean to you from an emergency communications perspective is that if there was an emergency need and you needed to go into a Red Cross operation or work with Red Cross staff, that you would already be chartered to do so. You would already have the necessary documentation that you'd be able to do that. Otherwise, it's very difficult for someone who hasn't already been brought on board with Red Cross to be directly engaged with people. However, as an unaffiliated hand, you can still be of great use to all these emergency communication things in terms of running nets, participating in nets, providing situational awareness of weather or internet outages or power outages. These are all valuable things you will be involved in. Which leads me to ask how many people here belong to Serve PA? Okay, Serve PA. I don't have the address on here, but you can look it up. Serve PA is the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association, EMA. You can join Serve PA in many functions, but one of them is radio. About the only thing they ask you to do is during weather events to report situational awareness. And you can go to the FEMA Serve PA site and you can sign up and you'll hear from them 3 or 4 times a year about what's the depth of the snow or how much hail have you got. And it's worthwhile to mention the amateur auxiliary communications service, FEMA ACS. FEMA has an actually more formal organization with a little more activity, providing emergency communication in between municipalities. ACS makes sure that the various municipalities, their EOCs, can communicate with one another by radio, and that is handled by ACS, which is largely amateur radio operators. So that's about all I've got to talk about tonight. I've sent you a copy of this. You can send it around to folks and follow up everyone. Comments, questions? Please don't debate me on the value of FL Digi versus
Since you mentioned weather, I mean, everybody here, well, most everybody here knows that I'm a Skyward coordinator for the area. And I have done Skyward training here at a club meeting.
And also not Skyline training.
Yeah, one time.
Oh, yeah, shut down, yeah.
You know, one of the great things about Skywarn is you don't have to be a ham to participate.
That's correct.
It's a super program.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, and I work very closely with National Weather Service, local offices in Mount Holly, New Jersey. And, you know, I communicate with them, you know, frequently. So they're happy to have me do Skyward training. So in fact, I have next month, April 11th, I'm going to Monroe County. So yeah, so we keep busy with that.
Now, up at it's at one point there was a Skywarn course that was available online as well.
There are courses online. The nice thing about doing Skyward training through me or through the local NWS office is that Skywarn is different depending on what part of the country. you're in.
Yep.
So it gives you more of the local
Yep.
flavor. But even just doing the general online stuff is too. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but Montgomery County Airways Racing is now doing the Skyline Met.
Oh, yes.
You know, and they do a practice net, I think it's the second Tuesday.
Mhm.
Is that what it is? Second Tuesday? Okay.
Of course, we never have a disaster in Delaware County. Can't have it.
But they will activate for, you know, for actual events, you know, severe thunderstorms and whatever. Yeah, do you know Bill Mungan?
No, I don't.
Okay, what is it? W1, whatever it is. Yeah, okay. CLK, yeah. He's a professor or teacher, he said, for science college.
Uh-huh.
And you know, he's very much into it.
Okay.
He loves doing it. So yeah, so it's a good thing. So that's on the 146-835 repeater, if anybody wants to check into it. 835. 835. Yeah, it was 835. Yeah, it was 885.
I have it in my radio.
Okay.
I'll just have to find it.
So Tuesday, it's a 7.
We,
Yeah.
I've tried
There's a.
numerous times to take the FEMA course. And I go down 2-3 screen, I get totally frustrated because my mind is not analytical, I can't memorize bullshit.
Okay.
I just can't do it.
That's how we get kicked off the internet.
I can't understand the necessity for knowing, you know, who CFJ versus JTP and who reports truth and all that. Just sit me down somewhere, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I mean. So I'll never get past that, I think. Just can't memorize.
We're not all put on this earth to do the same things in the same way.
Well,
You got more, but.
oh, okay. I got a lot. But
Wow.
Just one question, because there's been a lot of chatter about expecting, well, Red Cross and Airways Races and everything to be very active this year because of all the events that are happening. Have you heard anything more about that?
Sure, we've got a lot of exciting things going on this summer with Red Cross supporting the FIFA games, the 4th of July parade, and the All-Star game. And Cliff Hotchkiss, who is the head of Philadelphia County Airways, he is coordinating all those activities, and we're soliciting help from unaffiliated hams who want to join us. We're going to need 8 or 10 hams on each of those events each time they occur, and we don't want the same people every time. That's an awful lot to ask from people. The main activity that Red Cross is providing those events is what they call reunification. Reunification, Red Cross teams move around through the event looking for lost people that have been separated, and then get them matched back up with one another. Lose kids, lose parents, lose the group you came with, find a Red Cross person, and they'll get you reunified. And we're setting up in radio links between the various facilities, like the FIFA stadium and the EOC and the Red Cross headquarters, just in case the internet or the cell phone system go down, that we'd be able to pass any critical traffic back and forth during those events.
So, the more I start to delve into this, the more I see a conflict of loyalties. You know, it's like I went to the Montreal Racing's meeting last week. And or whatever, but you know, that there was the whole conversation about, well, where's your loyalty? Do you go to Red Cross or do you go to ARS? And it was kind of like, well, if ARS needs you in Monco, then we're gonna take precedent over Red Cross in Philadelphia. And I mean, I honestly don't see that happening, but you know, there's gonna be events, some of those events are gonna impact Monco as well.
Sure, and that's why we're casting a wide net. That's why Red Cross is casting a wide net. So that hams that have to be in one place can be supplemented by hams from another place. It's interesting you say this about loyalty. We all belong to multiple organizations. We're all in the business of juggling which one we're going to serve at any particular time. It doesn't make us bad actors.
No, it just makes sometimes a decision tree process.
With the different handle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, when we're gonna support it. Yeah.
I'm observing a big change in the, let's just say, technology support for emergency communication. And there's a book that just came out, the ARL, which I've just gotten a copy of, called Amateur Radio Network. And I tried at one point to hook up with the Monco group that's doing the mesh network. Nothing seemed to have sparked, nothing's been done in Philadelphia, doesn't been done in Delaware County, but I think the biggest problem is that the applications that emergency agencies are running are now cloud-based. They're based upon HTTPS, secure internet transmission, and hams can't use it. We're not allowed to use anything that's encrypted. So now there's going to be a big disconnect in the technical applications unless the rules change, and hopefully maybe somebody can pressure the FCC to change them so that you could do the encrypted transmissions also. So it's
Right, that and passing names in the clear. Right, reunification.
No,
Names.
reunification never passes a name in the clip.
Okay,
What the hams are saying, we found somebody, we're gonna bring them to.
okay, well.
Yes, we're very clear that you never name a client's name or provide their identification information or their address, any of that over the air.
Especially a minor.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But to your point about these massive applications that are being used by municipalities and services, we can't possibly replace those services. We can't provide that networking. It's as mentioned a little early on, when all else fails, the hams roll in the first few hours of the operation to help coordinate, provide the critical traffic to try to get the networks until the network come back up on their own.
I was a technical coordinator for EPA, so I can speak a little bit of slides at one point. But those applications are moving in a much more involved direction, as I told you, basically cloud-based services, encrypted data. I think hams have got to look back at our history and also what we have available. For example, a very misused and perfectly available system that we have is called APRS. And APRS is still there. In fact, my station at Temple University, K through TU, right in the heart of Philadelphia, has a very active DGP station, and it's not used for any emergency communication. Why? Because, well, we're not running 9600 bit per second apps, that kind of stuff. But in a real application, or emergency like Sandy or something, when there is no internet, I got news for 9600 bit per second, you get a hell of a lot of information. And I think we're missing the boat by not, everybody's got, HTs and 2 meter rigs and software defined packet radios, playing on a laptop and all that. I think we're missing the boat here. We don't have to provide that kind of cloud-based video streaming support when in a real emergency, that stuff may not even work. Now what?
Yeah.
And I think we're missing a boat here. We have to try to get back and look at what we can.
Yes.
If you're just transmitting text, 9600 bits per second
You
is
can't
fast.
even move it that fast.
Right, yeah.
Believe me. So goes to show you. Anyway, I don't know how that's really resonating because this, the old, the mesh networking with ubiquity hardware, I tried to do something, but nothing. We tried to get people in Monco to get it down through Darby and they get it all down and nothing happened. But the latest thing is the complete joke. It's called Mesh-tastic. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a 900 megahertz ISM band. If you're lucky, it'll go somewhere around 2 kilobits per second, maybe 2 miles, maybe 2 kilometers. That's about it. Because that's all you're allowed.
Drive out the scope of radio, throwing them out the window.
Exactly. So I think, and I got news for an APRS network running a 25-watt mobile transceiver would cover much more than 1 or 2 kilometers. I think we're missing a boat here. Somebody better take a good look at what we can really do in a real emergency if these people are going at the extreme end. But that's just a thought.
Yeah, and I have like my friend Drew Anderson, who, I don't know if you guys. I don't think he ever came in our meetings, but he's a meteorologist on Channel 29. He also teaches at Penn State Brandywine. And I'm trying to get him to get like Penn State to do something at the national level exam. So
Yeah, that's the hard bit.
It's very
Yeah.
complicated. I gave up. I give it up. It's just,
Well,
you know,
it's just a thought, I'm not gonna tell you. But,
it's really very popular out in California where they've got these, string of mountains.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you have,
you go
yeah,
through
that's one of the problems, we're talking
Yeah.
about 5 gigahertz microwave.
Yeah,
so
that works.
we have way too many hills and
We
valleys.
got way too many.
Phoenix, it works great, I've
Mhm.
been out there, it's unbelievable, works
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Why, everything's up on the mountain. all
Here
around.
too.
Yes.
But anyway, so the thought would be if people are looking at things technologically, that we don't have to try to. Work with much more complicated stuff like 5 gigahertz. Microwave equipment and mesh networking where we have had packet radio for. We're talking like 45 years now.
Mhm.
And it's very well developed and we should really look at that as to true. When all else fails, I'll fire up this thing, okay, here's a nice looking GUI and here's your text message, it just came in.
TPRFN has been doing all of that. They're there and you can reach it from your shack with a minimal amount of power on HF or VHF. And pass traffic and you can, their network now covers most of the country.
Do you know if there's a net that they have where you could practice using it?
Yes.
Okay.
Google for Delaware DPEN, Delaware Packet. Google for TPRFN.
Okay.
You'll find it. They're very active, especially over in Chester County areas.
Okay.
Yeah, Chester County seems to be the leader for the region.
Yes.
This club actually had a packet radio bulletin board system running out of Paoli Hospital in the 90s.
March in a row.
Right. Right. And that's when everybody had dial-up modems. Running 300 bit per second dial-up modem, packet radio is running at 1200 bits per second, right? Even the simplest ones.
So 3BS. Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's all I got to share. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna share all those tidbits of information.
I have a little PDF, I can send that out. I think we have an idea for a May program,
Yes.
bring your HT and we'll try programming in frequencies. We can talk about some of the other items here as well.
There was at the last ARS meeting, there was a discussion about, everything you needed to know about APRS. I was actually kind of hoping to get an update, and like what's going on today, because it seems to be very different than what it was when I was doing it. And all it was a history lesson. So I'm still kind of curious what, I've got radios I can put on APRS. But what do you do? Okay, you get a TNC or you got a computer, then what?
Well, if you want to see the activity, there's
APRS.
APRS.fi and it'll show you a map on which road.
You can follow
You can
yourself.
follow yourself.
It's mostly just people sending their GPS coordinates. It's the vast majority of traffic on there.
Yeah, it's very busy. My neighborhood.
I mean, people think it's automatic position reporting, but you could actually send anything.
Well,
Yeah.
that APRS is Bob Bernico's idea of trying to revitalize it. He was a prof down at Naval Academy. He's now assigned to keep, his idea was to turn it into something that it wasn't to begin with. It started out as just packet radio, packet transmission. Mark got into it. We were running bulletin board, had nothing to do with quote APRS, GPS locations and all that. It was a bulletin board signed into it. But again, I think we're missing out that this technology is there and very inexpensive these days, and I think that's really the line of defense when it comes to getting something done. But I don't think people really want to pass, not that I want to disparage it, but passing voice message when you can send a quick text message if you will, and I'll appear on the screen on those things. And APRS will be that like that.
We're doing interface WinLink into APRS as
Yeah,
well.
people do.
Yeah, it's just one of the many interfaces.
Well, that's what I meant by the movie, you could have a place like that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Put on the weatherhead for some of the weather stations that are actually.
Yeah,
Sure.
in fact, if you do the FI business, you'll see all the weather stations come up. And you can actually listen to them.
So, but my question is, do I just put up? Do I just run? I don't know how to make that technological. I got a 25-watt radio, now what? I mean, it used to be you. to
Well,
get
there's
outside, you put it-
There's terminal no controls, there's software only TNC, you have a
Yeah.
sound card, you're already on.
Well, they don't, and,
Well, then you can go on eBay for like $10, buy a TNC,
yeah,
standalone TNC, that's.
okay, so then I do that now, but.
Well, it depends what you wanna do with it, but the point is to try to get the activity back on.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so what do I say? Hey, come join me on APRS. Well, I don't know. You can do.
Well, I remember Mark bulletin board basically was what can you do with it, well, people were just sending messages to each other, downloading files, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is, from a technical point of view, we're moving, hands are trying this, used to be called broadband handnet at one time, that went away. Now it's called mesh, and it's now up at 5 gigahertz, why? Because the powers that be decided that the 2.4 gigahertz band, which actually had 3 channels, which are ham only, believe it or not. That wasn't good enough, or wasn't fast enough for them, so let's go to 5 gigahertz, and let's abandon that. At that point, I began to lose faith in people, because all they want to do is play games. And then when I saw this mesh-tastic stuff come up, I can't believe it.
Well, then there's this whole other thing, was it, I don't even know what it's called, but then it's all 420 megahertz. Radios,
Yeah, well, that's a flavor, but a lot of people are trying to have it appeal to non-hams by using 900 megahertz. You know, it's like. And then.
Yeah, the Monco group is
So-
starting to come back down.
You can disparage it, but this is what got me into ham.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
I'm not discouraging it, if you wanna play games and, you know,
It-
talk to somebody, walk away, great. You know?
it's MCOMs for non. Yeah, oops, sorry.
But in our
So-
early environment, I'll be lucky to go a block.
Oh, yeah, that's the big problem, you know, with the Moncos idea, you know, they keep pushing up and up. But, and I'm like, guys, you know, stop thinking in terms of a big giant network. Think in terms of, I'm at one end of Bridgeport and I wanna get volume of messages from one end of Bridgeport to the other.
And if you're talking about text messages, you could do that in a car with a laptop and your
Yeah.
mobile radio.
Yeah,
That's all
you don't need to set up additional of that, which is what you need to do.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
problem is the choice of frequency, there. It works great in some locales like Phoenix, but.
Sure.
Yeah, the Hilly.
No, I think they're fine with it, you know.
Well, good for them. I tried to hook up, the Monco group at one time had a location at Abington Hospital. And I'm 7 miles at North Philly at Temple, and I couldn't connect with them, 7 miles away, on 2.4 gigahertz.
Mhm.
And I wasn't running a dish or anything, but I did have a fairly good, cheap, Chinese, Yagi, you know, with very short call lines. Still couldn't,
You need a tunnel, Dennis.
7 miles away, yeah.
And then,
Use the internet.
what is that, right? Yeah.
It's the only way it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Just use your cell phone and you know.
Yeah.
Was automatic.
You should put the auto patch back on repeat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, well, anyway, that's the technical side of things for the next decade. Though. So I know that Philadelphia is interested in APRS because they, let's just say people have been checking out the K through TU like you won't believe, so that's good to hear. We have a 25-watt transmitter with very good hard line up to an antenna on top of a 10-story building, so we get pretty good coverage.
So, but what does that do? Does it relay?
It's a digital.
It's just a digital. It's all it does.
Yeah,
It's not a BBS.
that's one of the best things about APRS, quite honestly.
Mhm.
It was all built in already.
Then you only need the one radio for that.
Yeah, and it runs the so-called Aloha protocol. Aloha was named after Hawaiian Islands, and that's a collision-based thing. So if everybody gets up and does a transmission, if there's a collision that doesn't go through, you can wait a random amount of time and then try again. That's called the Aloha. But we have so little activity on 2 meters these days. You know, we have this tremendous number of repeaters, nobody's talking about, that you could open up that whole 2 meter allocation. Right now, they're using 3 frequencies, big deal. But I can come up with 20 in a minute, but. You know, this year, we'll give up one of our, we have 3 2 meter repeaters if you want the truth. I don't think we need 3, but.
We're doing like APRS.
Yeah.
On the repeat.
Sure.
Yeah.
600 hertz of bandwidth, holy crap.
Yeah.
There's your whole system, right
That
there.
drives people
600 hertz
crazy, but
allocation.
yeah, I'm with it, I'm for it.
Okay, well, anyway.
Did you hear me doing echo busy? 1-3, you'll know who to call.
Well, there are more modern protocols. Packet radio uses modulation methods that date back to the 80s. That could be better multi-level modulation methods. The 9600 bits per second was only based upon the fact that the radios at the time couldn't do anything. But the radios these days can do a lot better.
Is it just binary frequency shifting?
Even Gaze of Fusion is doing around 12 to 14 kilobits per second. So. All you need is more, you know, but I'm just saying, you could use standard AFSK, or frequency shift keying on a modern radio, and they will do 9600 bits per second. Especially since they all have that accessory jack in the back, where you don't have to go through the mic input, you go through right to the interactive modulator.
The administrator, it doesn't have that, so I'd probably be stuck at 12.
Well, 1200 bits per second is still an awful lot of characters, at 8 bits per character. So, I mean, that's the technical side. So,
Right. Anyone have any more questions?
Does anybody know where to find batteries for the TYT-UV-F1?
eBay.
eBay or Amazon?
Amazon.
Nope, somewhere else. Batteries America? Nope.
Is that
eBay?
that little micro one?
Yeah. Nope, can't find it.
See if it's compatible with another radio.
It's not, I mean, I've been looking at batteries for a week and was like, I can't find that.
AliExpress.
I haven't tried that. It is officially,
How much is getting a radio?
there you go.
How much is
The
getting?
battery might be more than a new radio.
Well, so my sister-in-law showed up at the house the other day with a box full of two-way radio, HTs mostly. It was supposedly a ham, and most of them were GMRS, but there was this one ham radio in there and a 27 megahertz CB radio in there in the scanner.
Can you get to the terminals, just solder wire?
Well, I knew you were gonna say that, and I'm just thinking about it, and then I'll look at it again.
Knock a battery pack on the back and use duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape works.
Yeah.
And pack it in your check bag at the airport.
Yeah, no, I'm going in direction because I can't.
Duct tape and the wires.
Put a tiger tail on it, that'll get you through the airport, right?
Clock on it too.
Make sure it's all tick one.
Yeah, ticks.
Anyway. I got all these little GMRS HTs. Nice. Some of them were pretty good.
Oh, why not?
They were the teeters, the whole bit.
Yeah, they're gonna film it, I thought, and then he's.
Yeah. They're, by the way, the GMRS repeaters in the area are busier than the 2-meter repeaters.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, I was in GMRS beforehand and there's a lot of GMRS
Yeah.
traffic.
And it's not, hey, good
Especially
buddy.
Reading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not hey, good buddy shit. It's real conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we would have, except it's different band. Yeah.
CB was like that too.
I mean, it's beginning. Well,
Yeah.
until the truckers got their hands on it. Well, yeah. 1973, I think. That's what. Yeah. Anyway, you want to play with, that's not.
They'll find you that.
Yeah. Yeah, it has an actual
Wait.
TYT part on it.
I showed a couple of people that Panera Bread, but if you know anything, if you get access to QST, the April issue just came out. And there's been an upgrade to the software for K through JT stuff, the FT8 and all that. Super CW, which is going to be an enhancement that's going to run basically CW protocols, but using coherent modulation, time coherent modulation with FTA blank things, so. You wanna, if you try to read the article online or whatever, we can talk about it, so.
You're gonna take up another HF frequency.
No, it's supposed to be downward compatible.
Oh, really?
But it works.
And this isn't an April thing, right?
Yeah, well, I think QST gave up with the April Fools edition, and it's gonna be a big thing, I used to look forward to it. They used to have, for you young whippersnappers like Jeremy, every April 1st, they would have an article, which looked like an article, but it was totally ridiculous. Let's see, one way to make more frequencies is to take your tank coil and your transmitter, instead of winding them clockwise, running them counterclockwise, and then you go on the negative frequencies. That was one thing.
I mean, in theory, you could do that, you could transmit circular polarization. To
It
our.
was supposed to be negative frequency. You went
Yeah.
around
Well,
the-
that's
But the best one I saw, which I don't even think was that much of an April Fool's joke. The guy had two identical Ford station wagons, and he put them nose to nose and loaded them up on the street as a dipole. And we had the
so many.
Well, these young guys are going around, they're loading up street signs and picnic tables and garbage cans, they're going all, they're just doing all kinds of stuff. That'll work, isn't it, then?
Well, anything will radiate, it just depends on how well. So.
It's all the stealth antenna stuff, you can load up a rain gutter, you can load
Yeah.
up a flagpole,
Mhm.
The HOA.
That's kind of what's driving it, yeah.
take that
Yeah.
HOA.
I've been setting up for the Red Cross Indus that we set up last week, and I was amazed at how much quieter it is there than at home, and how good the 40-meter signals were. I mean, just across the band, it was just banging.
We had an NDIS technical talk here at MARC a couple of months ago, and if you wanna read all about it, it's on the website.
Yeah.
Good one.
I couldn't get my SWR down, and I didn't have enough time to figure out why. But I had an end-fed long wire, 40 to 10. More or less tuned up with 13 feet on each end. And I got in, they didn't hear me very well. There's some sort of new signal quality channel
Circuit merit.
circuit merit, is that what it is? Yeah. It's, I mean, are we supposed to be using that now, or what's that all
No,
about?
it's just something we've talked about. Circuit merit is used in the telecom industry.
Oh, okay.
But when somebody says you're 5 points over S9, that really doesn't tell you much about the quality of the signal. And circuit merit is basically scale of 1 to 5. How comprehensible is your,
I got a two.
okay, which meant they heard you,
Yeah,
but it was difficult.
yeah. And I was hearing everybody.
Isn't that the same as a readability scale?
Pretty much.
Everyone's 5'9", right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fine.
People get insulted if you give them anything other than 5'9".
Give somebody a 4.9 and they say, what?
Right.
Exactly, what?
Anyway, it's been an interesting exercise.
You give someone a 5'7", it's like you've insulted their
Yeah, yeah.
setup.
What's interesting, when I set that antenna over in Quincy Park over here, the noise floor was pretty much zero. And as the morning progressed on, that noise floor is starting to go up. By about 10:30, 11 o'clock, it was up to S3 or S4. It was still very much able to get through it.
40
But
meters.
yeah, 40 meters, you could see it climbing up. It was really kind of interesting to see that happening. Yeah, and Cliff, he has noise all the time. He was S7 or more. Probably because he's probably operating from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really helps to get out away from RFI.
Mhm.
Really helps.
Yeah, I'm over S9 Orion.
Me too.
I'm in a big apartment building, I also have septic tracks right
Right.
nearby.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's something going on, if there's some loose connections or something.
It's constant surge. But Dennis talked me into doing FTA, and it wasn't a year later, I had worked all states on FTA. And 2 years later, I had DXCC. So,
I'm up to 882 contacts on FTA, across all the bands.
Mhm.
There's an award of 1,000 contact level.
is there,
You're almost there.
Just hard, no, it's hard to get the Kingdom of the Swanee to come on some of the band.
well, that's the problem, you look at all these dead spots, I printed out the DXCC award app. And each country turns green that you've worked. And the dead spots are like Eastern Africa and
North Korea.
North Korea, you know, some of you just like, there's nobody even there.
The ones I like are the ones where you make a contact and you get a confirmation, but $75.
Oh, yeah, no. Then-
Yeah, I haven't seen $100, I'm sorry.
And then that Bobet Island, that was pretty cool. I thought it was the name of it, but I was watching that on FTA. You know, they were listening below 1K and you were to transmit above 1K. when they and it was the band would go from a little bit of noise, a little bit of crackling to and it was just be a tone. It was all you could hear, it was a single tone. And you looked at the map and all the jumper lines that go through it went to the big black glob.
We're all trying to be nice, and then if you tune off of 7040 and move down 40 meters, it's dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's dead.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be, people are trying to be nice guy, only here, it's the only place we're gonna use it. Well, it doesn't, there's no reason why it has to be there, it's why they are.
Well, they were 70, 90 anyway. They moved up. Yeah.
That's
Even
that's
then.
typical.
Yeah.
And people don't complain too much because they're aware of the apps.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can use it, technically speaking, from a licensing point of view, as long as it's in the CW portion, those digital signals are fine. FTA,
Yeah.
because FTA is a lot slower than other ballots.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I never worked them, but I heard them. I heard them on 40 meters real early in the morning on one.
And of course, in South America, they go anywhere, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Operate
At
anywhere,
10 kW.
anywhere.
At
They can go
10
anywhere.
K, yeah, 10 kW.
No, those guys in Texas used to work at KW. And when I was first starting out,
They always said that was good ground.
tune across the band and the speaker goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running a kilowatt, yeah, right.
Bigger in Texas. Yes.
It's
Texas.
better ground conductivity,
Yeah.
according to them.
When I was at a signal corps, I ran a 50 kilowatt transmitter
Oh, yeah.
on radio telephone.
Really?
6 to 40 megacycles, go wherever.
Hair starts to stand up when you walk by it. Light bulb light up.
You know, like the biggest, what's the Air Force, I think we had 22 kW. We had these log periodics.
This was 1969, 1970, actually.
Oh, this was World War II equipment.
No satellites, you know?
No. But they had these log periodic, we had a field of log periodic steerables, and these things were monsters. You know, and they go from 7 to 30 megahertz or whatever. And they had 2 of them made a wedge like that. The bandwidth was like had been like 2 degrees. And one time I put that my 87101 to it, and she goes like, "Oh my God," you know, I pointed it towards Europe, and they're like, "Oh my God, I had a pile up." And everybody's asking me what I'm using. And like one time I'm like, "Oh, I'm using 10 watts on a tri-bander." And then I get it's like, "Well, that isn't good. I'm too strong for that." So I keep changing. And finally I just pulled the plug. I'm like, "This is where to get hot."
We have K3TO has a 3-element Mosley CL33 at 150 feet. And when the kids operate, when the members operate and all that, people say, "Why don't you turn the amp off?" We say, "Why?"
Yeah. Whole difference. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Very good. Thank Jay for a great talk. And
Yeah.
we'll close the official part of the meeting.
Oh, I thought
They're still streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll shut that down.
Talking about noise for it, I have a workbench and I have a light on it that has a decibel bulb in it.